Hi, this is Zach with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 9th of July. Starting off with the FTSE, which has broken through that rather sticky 88.40 zone. Above that, looking for the top of the rising trend channel from the spring of last year, 90.30 by the end of this month, which is what we've been looking for some weeks. On the downside, ideally, there's no end of day close back below 8800, which has been recent support. Worst case is a move down to the 50-day line, 87.36, but the RSI still relatively tame, even after all the rebound from back in April. It looks as though there's enough room here for this market to stretch its legs. Moving on to the DAX, and here also, after lots of dilly-dallying at and above the 50-day moving average, we are heading higher. We've been looking for the top of that rising trend channel from the spring of last year, 25,000 to be hit by the end of this month. And given that we've got a few weeks left, plenty of time to do that. Worst case at the moment is another test of the 50-day line is required, 23,700. You can see in the RSI window we've had 2/3 bounces for the indicator at neutral 50, which tends to be a leading indicator on the upside. And so far, that's proved to be the case. Next on the list is the Dow, and here we pulled back from the 45,000 zone, but given the performance of the other indices, probably today will be an up day. We've got the old March resistance of 44,000. Above that, we're still looking for this market to not only take out 45,000, but to head up to 47,400 by the end of next month. We're in a run up to a golden cross, 50 and 200-day lines, both rising, and that tends to be the strongest part of the cycle. So the last couple of days or last couple of sessions, hopefully a bit of an aberration. If we do break down, then the old June support there, 43,200, could be a destination. Moving on to Bitcoin, where surprisingly we're not at record levels, even though everyone and their mother has been adopting a Bitcoin treasury strategy and actually buying Bitcoin, one or two people as well. We've got that line of resistance through $110,000. We need to break that on an end of day or end of week close basis to give us up to 125,000 at the top of that rising trend channel from March last year. Looking for that really by the end of this month. We're lucky, because obviously as soon as the logjam of 110 breaks, we should move quite quickly. But if we're unlucky, then it would be 125,000 by the end of August. The other point to note is the RSI is at 55, so right in the box seat for a fresh move to the upside after that RSI 50 rebound that we had at the turn of the month. Gold is next, and here the picture is that of a market which has been trying to maintain the rising trend channel we've had in place since March. I suppose you could argue that the floor of the channel is a bit lower than that, but basically we are struggling. There's a wall of resistance there around 33.70, and below that, retesting the June the 30th floor there, 32.23 looks to be on the cards. RSI now well below neutral 50, so this is the first properly negative situation, slow negative situation that we've had for quite some time. Moving on to the stocks, and I've covered Corcel quite a few times. Can't resist looking at it actually, with the charting situation is a ricochet off the rising 50-day line. We've broken back above the RSI 50 level, so looking for the shares to hit the 0.45 area while we're above the 50-day line, 0.31. E-Star is next, and it looks amazingly well poised at the moment. We've got neckline resistance around, or we've had it around 1.65. We're right on there now. Could be third time lucky in terms of the shares breaking out. The initial target here was 1.75 pence, but it looks as though if we can get through 1.65 in a proper way, the next target up would be the upper parallel of that rising trend channel base at 2.6 pence by the end of next month, or even sooner. The way things are shaping up here, it looks as though it could get there by the end of this month. Upside value while we're above the rising 50-day line, 1.37. On to Fiinu, which I haven't looked at for quite some time, but currently looks quite good, very good in fact. We've broken a line of resistance there from March. We've established that as support. We've got a V-shaped or U-shaped bull flag, as I call it, looking for the shares to retest 14-15 pence area by the end of this month while we're above 8 pence. Next up is Haydale, which seems to be part of the graphene revival. That's probably the other big revival that we've had, apart from Bitcoin treasury stocks. Massive rally here, which we've called up one, two, three, four, almost half a dozen targets there. Next level up looks to be the old August resistance from back in 2023. That's heading for 1.15 pence, and we're looking for that while the shares remain above or if they can remain above the zero 0.8 pence level. Obviously, we had a full storm through there the other week, but on this occasion, this could be second time lucky within a V-shaped bull flag breakout, which we are getting at the moment. Upside valid at least while we're above the 0.7 pence zone. On to Metals One, which after dipping down to 7 pence and probably flushing everyone out, and making the bears think that they are back in business. We've had a very sharp rebound, bit of a cork in water rebound, really. And the initial target here up to the 50-day line, 27 pence. Above that, not really much in the way of resistance until the low 40s. So let's see if Metals One can deliver the goods. Ideally, we stay above the late June resistance at 23 pence. In the meantime, RSI early at 56.8. So basically still very much undercooked, and this looks like a mid-move consolidation breakout. So all to play for the Metals One. On to another hero of the recent past, which has been Mast. Another situation where all the target lines been broken. The last one was at 1.6 pence. Above that, we're looking for a rather ambitious move to a resistance line projection from back in 2022. That's heading for 3.4 pence, and we're looking for that by the end of next month. So let's see if the shares can step up to the plate. At the moment, it looks quite encouraging, especially while we're above the old 1.6 pence target. Moving along to Phoenix Copper, where we've got sort of gradual improvements here. What is positive at the moment, in fact, there are a couple of positives. One is the unfilled gap to the upside that we had last month. Shares have found support at the top of that, well, actually in the middle of that gap, to be perfectly accurate. And they've also bounced above a rising 50-day line. That tends to be a leading indicator on the upside, as is the way that we've had two bounces for the RSI at and above neutral 50. So it looks as though 7 3/4 pence should be a done deal for the shares by the end of this month, given the latest setup that we have there. Moving along to a stock which was quite interesting, actually, the fact that shares of Premier African have rocketed after the departure of the very hard-working previous CEO. I did say an end-of-day close back above the top of the gap, which we got yesterday. That was around 0.16. Could lead the shares to the 200-day line at 0.03, and we've almost managed that. Next level up is resistance on the way down, 0.042. So let's see if the shares can do that or hit that over the next week or two. It would be quite a comeback, and I'm sure the former CEO, George Roach, will be delighted to see how his former company is doing so well without him. Upside value while we're above the 50-day moving average, 0.021. Moving on to another minnow, which seems to be trying to revive itself, even though there's a horrible spike on the chart. Here you can see that Sunda got a U-shaped turnaround here. Initial target should be the 50-day line there at 0.038. Looking for that by the end of this month. Confirmation of that would be an end-of-day close back above 0.03, which is the floor of the gap. So if you're somebody who likes micro cap trading, that's the one for you. On to Shearwater, which had a decent update today, and you can see that the shares once again retested our triangle target at 51 pence. Above 51 pence, we're looking for a resistance line projection from the summer of 2023 at 70 pence, and hoping for that by the end of next month. This stage only back below the recent swing low there at 46 pence, upsetting the bull scenario. Moving on to Smarter Web, and here we broke that little line of resistance there. That was around 320. Above 320, we obviously retested the 375, which was the previous prediction, right on the nose. End of day close above 375 now required to get us back in the running for a retest of £5 to £6, which was last month's resistance. Ideally, we stay above yesterday's support at around the 305 level. Another Bitcoin treasury play is coming up, and it is Vaultz. And here you can see that right in the mid-range of the previous targets there. The first target there around 13 pence. The second one was 32. So looking for an end-of-day close basically above 24 pence to give us a move back to 32 pence again. Ideally, I think we stay on the right side of the yesterday's support at 17.6 pence. On to the last two. The first one looking quite exciting, actually, it has to be said, with a very sharp V-shaped rebound. That tends to be a decently leading indicator on the upside. Initial target here at WeCap was 1.8 pence. Above that, if we get lucky with the potential US-related announcements, 2.75 by the end of next month. Ideally, we stay above recent support at 1.3 pence on a mid-close basis. You can see the 50 and 200-day lines both rising, so we are in the run-up to a golden cross. And of course, that tends to be the strongest part in the cycle. Finishing off with Wishbone, and here you can see that we managed to hit our 0.5 pence target. Who else does that? I don't think many people openly make those sorts of calls. I think we're looking for 0.5 pence by the end of this month, which we have done. Next level up, rather simply, is September 2024 resistance at 0.72, and we are looking for that again by the end of this month. Ideally, we stay on the right side of 0.4 while we are trying to get there. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.